Sulfur is a very unforgiving roguelike single-player game that takes a new spin on the classic action adventures, combining elements of extraction shooters and backpack organization. You'll have to ensure that you are prepared to risk everything as you explore deeper into the caverns, sewers, and other locations with all of your gear, food, and ammunition that you've scavenged up until this point. Upon reaching the Blood Medallion's charging station, you will then be given the option to back out with what you currently have managed to acquire during your hour-long runs, or risk it for even greater rewards even though your inventory is still full. The composer of the soundtrack, Gustav, deserves praise. The OST was a combination of outstanding techno bangers and drops that felt incredibly relaxing, eerie, and suitable to each and every location to which they were associated with, that I feel like any audiophile would probably have a field day with, although I'm unable to pinpoint exactly what I derived from it. All I can say is that it ensured me that I would have to purchase their soundtrack if they ever decided to release one, so don't mind me as I go ahead and... The level design is heavily reused for each biome, as in you'll enter from one side and exit to the other. But then later on you'll return to the exact same map but from a different entry point with different enemies, treasure chests, and obstacles, but normally they're all going to be in the same locations, especially the secret walls that host all of the spells and powerful gear. It does feel like there aren't enough locations, especially if you play the same level over and over, which you will have to do after dying and potentially losing all of your best items. The gear really is the best part of this. When you head down or through any of the new locations you unlock after the caverns, you'll be able to manage what you want to take with you and leave what you can't. You'll occasionally encounter shopkeepers and storage bins after a long grueling section of being suddenly jumped by a large group of enemies in tight corners and even underwater, where you can then sort out the gear that you want to get rid of and the gear that you want to keep for future runs before deciding if you want to head back or to continue forward. If you do elect to stay and eventually die, all of your progress you've made with your weapons, levels, and attachments, power, ammo, and gold, and other items will be lost forever. You should always have food, a strong weapon, and a trash clearing weapon with you because using the same weapon and gear for an extended period of time will eventually degrade its quality, requiring that you repair it, which is very expensive on runs, and if you can't repair it without returning to base, it's a huge risk to continue moving forward with an even weaker weapon that hasn't even been upgraded yet. The sensations you'll get from making more progress and discovering new things is insanely satisfying, with the upgrades and oils for your weapons that can massively increase their power while also degrading their overall performance with recoil, bullet spread, and bullet drop, makes each run unique when you have to adjust how you play, especially when you finally get a new weapon and max out its full potential with all of the attachments. With over 150 cooking and crafting recipes to discover either on your own or with the help of the official Wikipedia, you're sure to have a lot of fun exploring and checking it all out. Personally, I've been having a lot of fun with Sulfur, even though I did eventually die after making a fatal mistake of underestimating the enemies and their swarming potential and damage as they jumped out from tight corners and dying, losing 4 hours of powerful upgraded progression. I still have some stockpiled gear left over from that run just before it happened, so that can assist me with my future runs, and even if I didn't have anything left over, the gameplay itself is very satisfying and fun, so I'd still want to play through it. And considering the fact that you can just sit there and farm the first boss for a ton of food and ammunition, which is probably an exploit, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I actively feel like I want to continue to improve and grow stronger with even more rare gear that boosts the number of jumps that you can perform, jump height, movement speed, recoil, damage, charisma stat for better shop prices, and more. So if you're a fan of atmospheric extraction shooter gameplay that is both exhilarating and challenging, I encourage you to give this game a try because you're seriously missing out if you don't.